Oh, okay. All right. Hook his computer up. Come on out, Zach. Right, so while they're doing that, I made a way of explaining. Zach is from Chicago and one of the organizers, I think, in Chicago of a lot of making activity. Someday we want to do a maker fair in Chicago of the size we have in New York, and it's a great city for that. So, but Zach has been working with a number of examples of some of the work he's doing, particularly with Shapeoko. And welcome to MakerCon.
Thanks, Joe.
All right. Thank you.
All right, so thank you very much, everyone. It's an honor to be here. So today, I'm going to give you a quick update on a project that we launched at MakerCon Bay Area and make an announcement at the end. You guys know any good jokes? What was it?
What's a pirate's favorite?
Oh yeah, what's a pirate's favorite letter?
I. So, but it's a C.
Oh! Let's give her a round of applause. That one got me. Who else has a joke? You got a joke? What do you call a conference for oatmeal?
MakerCon.
Another good one. Slide still not up. Yeah, go ahead.
Why shouldn't you trust anything that atoms have to say?
Why?
Because they make up everything.
Ah, this is a very funny audience. I'm very impressed. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay, let's give you a round of applause. Thank you. Yeah. All right. All right. So we're going to do a bit of an update, and then we're going to do an announcement. So Yancey talked about mission and values and what's important to a company. So at Inventables, what we're trying to do is be part of this process that's moving the world from a few small companies, a few large companies manufacturing most of the world's products to a world where there are millions of companies manufacturing the world's products. And so one of the hypotheses or beliefs that we have is that digital manufacturing is transforming not just how goods are made, but who can make them. And that second piece is a key part. And so our evidence for this started with our relationship with Edward Ford. So Edward is the founder of the Shapeoko project. The Shapeoko started out looking like this. And much like Yancey's pictures, this is a low-cost CNC machine made out of laser-cut plywood. Here to here, so this is version 1, that was 4 years. Just like Yancey's Kickstarter was about 4 years. So one guy, 4 years, and then to version 2 was about a year. So this has been a tremendous success for us in terms of getting more people access to digital manufacturing. And so, but when I think about what the success has been, it has not been about the product. It has been about the community. And so 30,367 is the number of posts on the Shapeoko forum. Posts. I was blown away by this number. This is crazy. And people are answering things at 3, 4, 5 in the morning because they're so excited about what's going on. And so I think about this. Digital manufacturing is transforming how goods are made and who can make them. It's such a groundswell of excitement. Like in the beginning of Inventables, we used to work with the biggest companies of the world. And if any of you work at the biggest companies of the world, things that happen in those companies tend to happen in conference rooms at a very measured pace. Things that happen on the Shapeoko forum are at like a breakneck pace at houses, on phones, in labs, in garages. The energy and excitement with this stuff is incredible. And so I look out into the world beyond Shapeoko. So we have a very digital manufacturing-centric view of the world. And you start to see things like this. So this guy is actually about 8 blocks from our office in Chicago. His name is Scott Wilson. They did the first $1 million Kickstarter. And up until this point, I actually didn't take Kickstarter very seriously because it was kind of like, okay, so these are creative projects, as Nancy said. This one, so Scott, we knew him because he used to work, he was the head of the Nike Timing and Tech Lab in Beaverton, Oregon. And he's a professional industrial designer. He worked at IDEO, worked at Motorola. This guy is a force of nature in the industrial design community. And so all of a sudden, he raised $1 million for a watch band. The watch is actually the iPod Nano. So just for the band. Exactly, wow. I was like, wait, what? Okay. And so Scott, so all of a sudden I was like, wow, you don't need the client anymore. The client in industrial design parlance is the big company who funds the risk, the inventory risk, the design risk. Scott had the idea, put it out on Kickstarter. They made one prototype. This wasn't a rendering. And he got $1 million. And a lot of the reason that he got $1 million was because it was Scott. So it was Scott on the design side, so the thing was beautiful. But all of his fans, he didn't have customers because they don't make watches. He's an industrial designer. All of his fans love Scott. And they have confidence that if Scott's doing this, it's probably going to work. The second thing is Etsy. Another thing that when it launched, I didn't take it very seriously. Most of the things on Etsy were yarn, for lack of a better word. So last year, the transaction volume through Etsy was $1.3 billion. This year, it's on pace to break $2 billion. This is something to be taken seriously. It is not just yarn anymore. This is incredible. And the third thing is these guys. So you all know what this is, Amazon. But specifically, the part of Amazon that I'm talking about is fulfillment by Amazon. The part where you send them your products, and magically, their elves ship them out. And if you have Prime, free, anywhere that they need to be ordered. So now, you don't need to take inventory risk. You don't need like digital distribution. And you don't even actually have to ship it yourself. These guys will do it for you. So all you need is your ideas. And so it really, when I was putting together this talk, like I couldn't reconcile, okay, those things have nothing to do with digital manufacturing. They have to do with distribution. And so I amended my thesis here to say digital distribution in manufacturing is transforming how goods are made and who can make them. And this, I believe, is a key piece, because the distribution piece, I put it in green, because that's where the money comes in. And it's where it goes from a hobby or a science fair project or an interest into a business. So you guys have seen this article. So AP Newswire, it was on NPR, 53% of recent college grads in America are underemployed or unemployed. And a third of those, so that's 1.5 million students, or recent grads, a third of those have a technical degree. So 500,000 have a technical degree. And you start to ask yourself, what is going on here? So there's this rise, meteoric rise of things like Etsy and Amazon Fulfillment and Kickstarter. And there's this constraint of a limited number of jobs at big companies, and many of them are downsizing because they're outsourcing a lot of the work that used to be done in the walls of their company. So we're in the early stages of this transition. So at MakerCon in Bay Area, we announced this project to attack this problem. And so you talk about being a mission-based company. Like, the reason that we had confidence to do this was because it was consistent with our mission, not because we thought we were going to make any money from it. And actually, it cost us a lot of money. So the idea was we are going to give away a Shapeoko 3D carving machine to every state in the union. Because the idea with democratizing digital manufacturing is it's not about New York and it's not about San Francisco. It's about anywhere you are. And really, it's about communities of people anywhere you are. So we're trying to take a couple things that we learned. One is all of those posts on the Shapeoko forum. Those people are from all over the world. They are not getting paid. They are passionate. Trying to take that level of community, the same level of community we see in Chicago at places like Pumping Station 1 and the Chicago Public Library, where they have essentially free or small amounts of money paid to be part of a community that are making things. And these people coming are just excited about what they're doing. And the reporters come in, they're like, so how does this scale? How does this scale? How does it scale? I don't want to punch him at this point. It doesn't scale. It's local communities. Like, relax. So we got hundreds of applications. So we said it was free, and all you had to do, it wasn't free like, hey, we're just going to start handing these things out. It was free, and you had to pay with your effort, not with your money. So the idea was we wanted these things to be in places, in communities, that some part of the time could give them free to the community, and could have the community come together, because remember, it's a kit, and build it. So this wasn't like, hey, yeah, I just want a free machine. This was like, hey, I have a library, I have a school, I have a community center, I have a makerspace. And collectively, we asked them questions like, who is in your makerspace? What have you made? What have you made is like the ultimate question, because they're like, oh, we want to make, they're like, we've made this and this and this. It's the difference between, hey, we're getting started, and hey, we know how to do this. So we picked the 50 highest potential ones, and the #1 question I get is, does that include Alaska and Hawaii? So yes, Alaska, super exciting makerspace in Anchorage. And the other thing we learned from this is, on the forum, you can't see anybody's face, right? It's just a handle and text. And so we learned that this is reaching people of all stripes, all colors, all races, all genders, everywhere that this kind of stuff is happening. And so in this picture, you've got 2 girls, 1 guy. And it looks like the girl knows what she's doing, and the guy is just kind of hanging out, messing with the wires that aren't connected to anything. So good job, girls. Aya, I saw her. These guys are from Louisiana, Baton Rouge. These guys are in Elkhart, Indiana, home of most of RVs that are made in America. And so, and this one was really special because we met this guy at the Maker Faire Bay Area this year. He was actually super excited about what we're doing, and he wrote his own app to work with the machine, because the open source apps that we had out there were so bad. He's a computer programmer. He couldn't bear himself to use it. So we're like, all right. So I met him. He's super awesome. He also runs this space.
Across the country, more and more people are building, creating, and making. It's called the Maker Movement, and it's taking form right here in Reno Sparks.
News 4's Van 2 visits Reno's Makerspace to see what's new. Van?
Well, Madison, Bridgewire is Northern Nevada's makerspace, a place where minds can meet, collaborate, and make whatever they can design. Well, the group was awarded a 3D carving machine after the company Inventables decided to give a machine to one makerspace in every state. This is Bridgewire's new 3D carving machine, formerly known as a CNC.
CNC stands for Computer Numerical Control.
Very much like a drill press, but it moves up and down, left to right, and backwards and forwards. Machines like this have existed in big manufacturing industries, expensive, bulky, and inaccessible, but that's changing.
A lot of things that we're seeing in the maker movement is fundamentally manufacturing coming home.
In just a few minutes, Williams can design artwork on his personal computer using a variety of software, even Microsoft Word. All it takes is a connection, some post-processing, and the drill gets to work.
So as the drill bit moves through the material is removed.
Williams carved a quick KR&V sign for a demonstration, but the machine is capable of much more intricate designs like this dragon. The possibilities are endless.
From a sign to a mechanical part to anything you can imagine or design, basically.
Williams says having the machine gives makers in Reno Sparks the power to press their own ideas and imaginations, and it's a welcome addition to other tools like laser cutters and 3D printers at the Makerspace.
The Makerspace it's kind of like a membership to a health club, but instead of going to work out, you're making stuff.
Now, if you would like to check out that 3D carving machine and other tools with the makers of Bridgewire, you can visit their open sessions on Thursday nights. We'll have more information on mynews4.com. Back to you, Brian.
So one important thing he said there was it's about manufacturing coming back to America. But the key thing to remember is it's not the same kind of manufacturing we were doing over the last 100 years. It's a new kind of manufacturing. Sometimes people are calling it long-tail manufacturing or micro-manufacturing. And the key, again, the word is distribution. And it's in green, again, because this is where the money comes in. And so it's not the same kind of distribution that you have when you make 1 million of something. It's more disaggregated distribution. So in the town that I grew up in, there was this corner on the way to the mall where there were 3 bookstores. And there are none of them left. They're not there. One is like a hospital now, one is a garden center, and one they knocked it down and it's an Applebee's. Right? So the way that these things are going to get distributed doesn't mean less books are being made. It means the way that they're being distributed is changing. And so what we're starting to see is people are coming up with products. So this is a synthesizer that plugs into an amp that you can play really cool electronic music with. And the guys who are using this in their band played Lollapalooza. So it's a small indie electronics maker, and he's making instruments for guys playing Lollapalooza. There's guys making eyewear. So these guys are actually in Chicago. They got about 5 guys in the company. They sell these wood glasses that are made using digital manufacturing in about 90 boutique retailers. About 10 to 15% of them are actually not even in America. They're in other countries. And they look like this. It's not going into Pearl Vision. It's not going into lens crafters. It's going into more considered retail environments. And then these guys. So these guys are the Irby scooter guys, and they did a crowdfunding campaign. They prototyped their first Irby scooters on the Shapeoko. And it's aluminum, it's big, you can ride them. The cool part is it's an electric scooter, but you can fold it up and take it with you. And so the folks that worked on these things used software that was designed for professional industrial designers, professional mechanical engineers, big equipment. And so the open source tools that we started out with a couple years ago with the Shapeoko project were, I would say, hard to use. So at South by Southwest this year we launched Easel, but we did it cautiously into a beta program. And the first day that we launched it, we got 4,000 people who signed up to the list, and we let in 10 because we didn't want to hurt anyone. And then a couple weeks later, we let in 100. And then when we launched the 50 states program, we let in 1,000. And today, I'm happy to announce we are making it public for everyone in the world to use for free. So I'll show you a quick little video, and then we'll do a demo. But before we do that, so we got tons of feedback from the people in the beta program. And we actually made it so our engineers who were working on, so when we went to South by Southwest, one of the things that happened was I brought the whole engineering team. And initially, the marketing guy was like, well, let's just bring the marketing team. And we decided, like, we're going to bring the whole engineering team. And something amazing happened because, you know, like when you launch something and it's in beta, it almost works. And so what happened was we had a little booth, and you could come up and you could make a bottle opener. And I didn't expect this. I was like coming back from getting food or something, and I noticed 2 of our engineers sitting on the floor in the booth. And I was like, what are they doing? And the customer service guy was like, oh, yeah, they're upgrading the app because we noticed that you could do it faster. And I was like, that is amazing. When you put engineers like this close to real customers who are like, oh, it doesn't work, all of a sudden everything gets fixed. So yeah. So when we came back to the office, rather than having the feedback go from customer service to the engineers, we just had feedback go straight to the engineers. And they started responding to every single person that wrote in because that same connection and responsibility that they had with the people when they were face-to-face, and you can't be like, because they knew they could fix it, right? And so all of the feedback sort of gets summed up like this. So Easel is amazing. I knocked out a little speaker ring project that would have taken me 45 minutes or more. I could even, before, and I could start cutting in 5 minutes using Easel. Brandon Nixon. And so that our stated goal at the very beginning of the project was we could help you go from idea to finished product in under 5 minutes. And this came in 2 days ago. So it was like a huge high five for our whole company. Inventables is a hardware store for designers, but our focus is that we help people go from idea to finished product. We're trying to democratize product development. So you don't need a lot of money, you just need a good idea and a lot of passion to bring your idea to reality. Today, at this moment, we invite you to try Easel.
I'm Paul Kaplan. I'm a software engineer at Inventables. I build websites that can control machines. A CNC mill is a computer-controlled cutting machine that can take digital designs and cut them into physical materials.
The kinds of products and projects you can make with easel use real materials, real woods, plastics, and soft metals like aluminum.
CNC mills used to be huge machines used in industry, but they've shrunk down and now they're desktop CNC machines that are under $1,000. But the software was still made specifically for engineers.
If we're really going to start seeing hundreds of thousands and then millions of manufacturers making products that they're passionate about, the software needs to change. The software needs to become more accessible for the rest of us.
The key to the software is that it lets you design in 2 dimensions and it gives you a preview in 3 dimensions of what your design actually looks like. You can adjust the cut depth of that path and you can see it updated live in 3D.
The software allows you to walk up to a computer with no background and experience, design something, click, and in less than 5 minutes you'll be holding in your hand that item that you just designed.
I hope that regular people would be inspired that they can be creative. Anybody can make things. Anybody can create beautiful objects.
The 2 biggest problems with all the software options today are they're complicated and expensive. With Easel, we decided to make the easiest, most intuitive software that's also free to use. We invite you to try Easel and join us in igniting the 3rd Industrial Revolution by making something you're passionate about. Thank you. So how about a quick demo? Yeah? Very quick, very quick. We got to eat. All right. So we added this little section of easel projects, and so today I'm going to do the simple stamp project. Dale, you're going to like this one. So you can click this button, open an easel. So obviously I'm not Tate, and now I've got Tate's project open, and it says simple stamp by Tate. And so one of the things we think is important is the idea of ownership of ideas, ownership of intellectual property. Even if your idea is open sourced, at least you'll be able to track it back to the person who made it. And so I'm playing with easel in a sandbox. If I want to save this project into my account, I can click this to make a copy. And now I have a copy of Tate's project. He's previously selected that he wanted to share it with a Creative Commons license. So now I'm in my own account of easel. You can see like I've got my files over here. And we've got his stamp project. And I didn't want to do his stamp project. I actually wanted to import the Make Magazine logo. So there it is. And I'm going to take his text over here and delete it. And you'll notice over here, so his stamp was a little smaller. So I go up to the materials, and I'm just going to change the size of the material, because mine's 6. And then there we got the make. And now I'm going to bring down the back of the stamp. And I have to just select it all. Oop, let's just move this over here for a second. I got to select all the text, because so we're making a stamp, and if you make a stamp, you need to mirror it, or else you're going to stamp backwards. Do that. And now, so now we're ready. If I wanted to change the exact position, I could. I don't in this case. And I would just click this button, carve, and the machine would start. That's it. So we did that, we cut it out, and now you can do your own letterpress. Thanks very much. There you go, Dale.
Thank you, Zach. Really appreciate it. Well, we're just at about a lunch break here. A couple things I want to tell you about. One is when we come back, we're breaking up into 2 groups. In this room, was going to start off with a Making More Makers track. Stephanie Santoso of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy will be moderating that panel. It's sort of an education track, but as a maker said to me the other day, every project I had to make required me to learn how to make it. And so this isn't just something about school, it's really about the entire environment we're in. The other track that I'll be kicking off is the business of making, and I'll just be going over a survey we did of maker pros and reflecting some of perhaps what this audience and others are telling us about themselves. So finally, before we break, I just want to point out Vicki Welch and Suzanne Houston, our organizers here, and thank you for. They work behind the scenes with everybody to make it happen, and I'm really appreciative. Now, the other thing, I would like, how many of you are kind of the first time to a Maker event like this? Wow, quite a lot of you. Okay, so I want to give you this advice. If you saw me in a place like this and I was in your seat, I would be shy and a little bit, back saying like, oh, I don't know anybody here. Please reach out to makers here and the audience, get to know each other. It creates more value for you if you can talk to other people. But there's great people here in the audience, some of whom are not on stage. I saw Brooke Drum back there from PrinterBot, and a lot of people here that once you go up and say them, you go, oh, I know who they are. But do me a favor, reach out during lunch, sit with someone you don't know, introduce yourself. Let me ask you, how many are from outside the United States? Look at that. Wow, fascinating. So terrific. Actually, it reminds me of my next column for the Make 3D printer issue. I compared the 3D printer world to the World Cup, and like the Netherlands is kicking butt. It's like like they would be in the finals. But but at any rate, have a great lunch. We'll resume at 1:30 in the 2 rooms, right? Anything else? What? Quick.
We're also offering office hours with 2 great folks this afternoon, Eric Klein from Lemnos Labs and Scott Miller. There are still sign-ups available outside of the cafe. This is your opportunity to get some great one-on-one time with those folks. We've got a long day today. We've also got Print the Legend tonight, so enjoy your lunch.